All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking something genuinely fascinating, the mechanics of word architecture. We're going to explore exactly how intentional writing literally compels people to take action. You see, we're breaking down that hidden structure behind words. Because, words don't just passively sit there on a page. When done right, they actually grab the reader by the mind and guide them to a very specific destination.
Which brings us to the core question driving this entire explainer. How do mere words architect physical action? It's kind of a profound concept when you really think about it. We're taking a super detailed look at the exact mechanism that takes someone from passive reading to definitive, real-world action. I mean, how does a simple symbol on a screen translate into someone actually reaching for their wallet, or clicking a link, or completely shifting their behavior? Well, that's exactly the architecture we're decoding today.
So look at it this way. Writing isn't just about self-expression or just, dumping raw information onto a page. It's about intentionally building a structure. Think of an architect designing a skyscraper. They don't just throw bricks in a pile and hope for the best, right? Every single word you use is a structural element. Your action verbs, the pacing, those little sensory details, they're all carefully placed to guide your reader down a highly specific psychological corridor.
And to really understand how this building is constructed, we had to talk about hypnotic writing. By definition, it's achieving a deeply interested state through the right use of words to create mental experiences. It's an incredibly deliberate architectural process. And notice that emphasis there on the right use of words. We're not talking about busting out a thesaurus and using the most complex vocabulary imaginable. No, it's about precision. The exact right word placed in the exact right spot basically acts as a load-bearing pillar for your reader's attention.
Now, the real secret sauce here relies on creating actual mental experiences. Your words absolutely have to leap off the physical screen. When someone reads your copy, they shouldn't just be processing raw, dry data. Your architecture should practically force them to visualize, to imagine, and to actually experience a scenario internally. You're basically generating a virtual reality inside their head using nothing but typography. So instead of just saying the weather was cold, you use words that make them literally feel that icy wind biting at the back of their neck.
And the beauty of this theory is how grounded it is in highly practical, everyday applications. We are talking about your website, your emails, and your sales letters. We all know that awful sinking feeling of staring at a blank, blinking cursor in a new email draft, right? It's like you're staring at an empty dirt lot. Well, word architecture is the process of deciding exactly what kind of mental experience you're going to build on that lot for your specific audience.
The crucial point of this entire build, though, is the depth of interest you capture. The ultimate goal? To get people so completely absorbed that almost nothing else matters. Honestly, successful hypnotic writing makes all those other distractions just fade away. Think about how ridiculously powerful that is. In a world totally full of buzzing notifications and endless browser tabs, your word architecture can be so structurally sound, so completely captivating, that the reader's whole world just shrinks down to the exact sentences you engineered for them.
Let's look at the flow. This entire process builds sequentially, kind of like a perfectly designed domino effect. First, you select the right use of words, which then forge those vivid mental experiences. That, in turn, captures absolute interest, getting them to that magical state where nothing else matters. And that unbroken chain reaction, that is exactly what finally forces the reader to take action. It's just a seamless flow from the very first syllable to the final click.
But, and this is a big but, there's a vital catch here. And if you do this right, it's a stark reminder that this is a precise architecture that requires flawless execution. Because let's face it, a poorly built house is eventually going to collapse, and poorly chosen words, they'll shatter the illusion entirely. If the words aren't precise, the mental experience cracks, the absolute interest vanishes, and well, the action simply never happens. The details of your engineering are literally everything.
But if you do follow the architecture, your hypnotic writing will lead your readers to take action. Remember, hypnotic writing isn't meant to just, entertain. And it's definitely not about trying to sound smart. In this context, writing is not art, it is pure engineering. Its sole driving purpose is to architect a specific action. That entire structure you just built exists for one reason: to guide your reader effortlessly to a single, definitive endpoint. So having seen exactly how this architecture flows, from those precise words straight into physical action, we've arrived at the end of our explainer. The next time you sit down to update a website or draft up a new campaign, I want you to remember that you are an architect. Are you going to just pile up a bunch of random words, or are you going to intentionally design an experience so deeply interesting that your reader is absolutely compelled to act? So I'll leave you with this. What mental experiences will your next words architect?